Hi guys, so for today's video, I will be trying to do this look. This is a Nina Park inspired makeup look. She has been very influential lately, and I think her makeup is kind of subtle, dark feminine, glowy skin, really healthy, juicy, plump lips. And I think she's very good at color matching and color theory. So hopefully we see more of her works in the future, which I really do think will happen. So if you want to see how to get this look, please keep on watching. Hi guys, for today I will be trying out the famous Nina Park makeup. So not sure how I'm going to do it, but I'll be basing my makeup on her uploaded photos. I feel like her makeup is really strategic placement of foundation and concealer and everything else really. And it's so specific to the client. The colors and the skin tones. It's so good. So let's try to recreate it and hopefully I do well. Okay, so for the skin prep, I think it's very glowy, so let's try to hydrate our skin first. So if this is your first time watching my video, for your information, my skin is very dry and eczema prone. So I'm going to use this Issy hydrating mist first. And then we're gonna let that dry. And then I'm going to use the Pond's Nice Arsenal Serum. I like this because it's a little tacky and makes my skin glow, which is something that we're going for this look. So, since my face is extra dry, I'm going to use this moisturizer as well. Okay, so now that we're done with the skin prep, let's add another step to it. I'm going to use the Skin Master Primer from Teviant. This makes the skin glowy, and I think it makes the makeup last a little bit longer on my face. Okay, so now we're done with the skin prep. The next thing that I'm going to use is this illuminator from Lovely Cosmetics. I'm going to put this on the high points of my face. So here, she places it here, right in those areas, and here, also here, I think. Right there, in here. I think that's... And I'm going to use this Real Techniques brush. This is the Glow Round brush for the face. And I'm just going to tap it like that. Oof. Okay, so now we're done with the illuminator. I'm going to correct some part of my face, so the under eye and this part here. So this is the Issy color corrector in PM3. Just like that. And for this one, I'm going to use this e.l.f. Camo color corrector in Peach. This one. I'm going to use a concealer buffer from Zoeva. This is the brush 142. So if you think there's like excess product or you put too much product, just warm your fingers like this and then tap, tap, tap. I'm going to take the Saem color corrector tripod concealer, and I'm just going to take the green one and I'm going to correct the sides of my nose because they're red. So just tap. Now we're done with color correction. Let's move to foundation. I'm going to use two and mix them together. This is the L'Oreal Infallible Tinted Serum, and this one is the Active Foundation from Issy. This is NL 2.5, and this is in 3 to 4 light medium. Right there. And then I'm going to take the same brush that we used for the illuminator a while ago, and I'm going to use it as foundation brush. So they say, or Real Technique said, that this makes the foundation or your base a little glowy. So let's try to do that. Just gonna load up the brush like this with the product. Okay, and when I'm satisfied, I'm just gonna tap the excess there. Okay. Okay, so since I said a while ago that I think her placement of foundation is quite strategic, I feel like she puts it all over the face and then just puts more coverage on the parts where she wants to cover. So I think I'm gonna do just that. So first I'm going to tap or buff the foundation here on this side of my face where there are a lot of veins, but we don't want to cover everything because the skin of our clients are very natural. So that's what I'm going to do, or gonna try to do as well. So let's not forget the neck. And also here. So I'm not gonna put foundation over here because I have bangs. I'm just gonna tap it right there. Okay, and then for the excess product on the back of my hand, I'm just gonna use the brush to get all of that, so that if we need the foundation brush later again to make the product seamless on the face, then we can do so very easily. So there. Okay, so let's just put this on the side, and I'm just gonna clean the back of my hand using a makeup wipe. So I'm using the Strokes makeup wipe. Voila. I'm just gonna put that on the side. Maybe we'll need it a little bit later. Okay, so I think that is the base. Yeah. She doesn't do a lot of brightening or whatever. It's just skin. It's just skin. So now that we're done with foundation, I'm gonna contour my face. So she doesn't do heavy contour. Yeah, she doesn't. I do think she uses cream and powder products though. So I'm gonna try to do that as well. So I'm going to use this creme shadow stick from Issy in the shade Snatch. I'm going to take this JE04 brush from the Vice Jelly collection, the first one. And I'm just going to do that like that. So I think for her look, you have to avoid putting the product directly on your face. You always have to use a tool like a brush or a sponge or whatever makeup tool that you want to use for the product, and then you apply it on your face. That's what I think she does. So I'm just gonna load the brush up right that. And then when I'm satisfied with the amount of product on the brush, I'm going to tap it on the back of my hand, so it's not that harsh. So again, for her, I think she builds up the color or the product on the face and then just add. So for me, I think I'll contour in the usual way that I contour, so over here. So don't forget to put it on your sideburns like this. I think I'm happy with that. So remember, when you're contouring, you should put the brush here, not here, unless you want to make this part smaller. So just here. And also here. Okay, so now we're done with the subtle contour. Let's go to the brows. So I think she uses powder, right? But I don't have a brow powder, so I think I'm just gonna use an eyeshadow. Let's use this. So I'm taking this Neutral Mattes Pro palette from Strokes. I'm going to use the shade Baka. And I'm going to take an angled brush right here. So I'm taking this Vice Jelly second collection brush in JE06. So just gonna do that. Load up the brush. That. I don't know if this is my shade. I'm just going to mix these two. So Carbon and Baka. Ooh, that's a lot. I'm just gonna brush that out later. So just try to map out the shape that you like. And then brush. Okay. You can try to brush your brows in different directions to fill them in. I also try to do this motion where the brows are like this, right? But then I brush it like this, so it's easier to fill them. Okay, so now we're done filling in the brows. I'm going to use a brow gel. The product that I'm going to use is this one from Absidy. This is their Sculpt and Hold gel in the shade Clear. Let me just coat the hairs. Okay, now that I've coated the hairs, I'm going to use the built-in brush that comes. Her clients tend to have bushy brows, I think. Groomed brows, so I'm going to do that too. So just brush them up like this. Brush them like that. And then shape them. Yeah. There. I think that's good. Let's do the same on the other brow. Yeah, so this is how I coat my brows. I start at the end because that's the part where my brows are very stubborn. So I do that, and then I do this, different directions. You don't need to do this if you have brow hairs that are not stubborn and are not that thick. For me, I have to do it. So then we comb up like that and then shape them. I think I'm done with the brows. Let's move on to the eyes. So for the eyes, it feels like the eyes are done minimally, and it feels like the eye makeup or even the whole makeup sits on their face for quite a long time. Like it's been there for quite some time, and then it's like a part of their skin. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how to explain it, but that's how I see it. Okay, so let's do a little bit of a smoky eye. I'm going to take this Bahama Mama from the Balm bronzer. There, I've hit pan. Then I'm going to take a 221 Zoeva Luxe Soft Crease Brush. So take a soft crease brush if you have one, and then just swirl the brush just like that. Then when you're done swirling, tap the excess. And then swirl again and tap the excess. Okay, so now since I have hooded eyes, right? Okay, so I'm going to place the bronzer all over the lids. Just like that. Not too much. We just want some color there. And then I'm going to take it here as well. Oof. I'm going to do the same thing on the other eye. You don't have to be, I don't think I have to be very precise with the placement. I'm just putting on some bronzer color, just dragging it down here. We're going to put concealer later. So since I have hooded eyes, right, I have to look straight into the mirror or the camera and then find my crease and then just do this motion. So this is where my crease is. I have to put it here as well. So even if my eyes are closed, you can see a little bit of the color. Okay, and then let's take a chocolate eyeshadow. This is again from Neutral Matte's Pro Palette. I'm taking the Bacha or Baca, whatever, the one that we use on our brows. So I'm taking this small flat brush, number 10 from Strokes Beauty. So this is how I load the brush. So you just tap, tap, tap. And then tap the excess. And as you can see, I have hooded eyes, but I have very small lid space here that is seen, right? Visible. So I'm going to place the brown shadow there. Right here. I think that's what she does. Okay, so the way that I place the eyeshadow is just here. This one. So if you can see, this is 1/3, 2/3, 3/3. I'm not gonna put anything here, right? Just here. Okay. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other eye. Just start here in the middle. And then just here. So let's go back to the eyeshadow a little bit later. First, let's tightline our eyes. I'm going to use two gel liners. The first one is from Strokes. This is a black one. And then the other one is a gel pencil from Issy. This is in Diva. This is like a dark brown. So I'm going to use the dark brown here on the inner thirds, right? And then for the rest of the eye, it's going to be in black. Okay, so let's do the brown first. So this is what it looks like. Let me show you the color. There we go. That's brown. So again, I'm going to line the inner thirds of my eye, this part, but also on the lower part as well, like up to here too, because she does that too. Okay. Let's move on to the black one. So if you're having a hard time, just press very gently on your lid, right? If you press gently, you can see the part where you can tight line. Tight lining defines this part here, especially if you have chubby or fat lids like I do. Like swollen, but they're not really swollen, it's just like that, right? So it defines the eyes like that. So just connecting the black to the brown. So let's leave the eyes for a bit and let's go to the blush. I'm going to use this Nude Duet blush from the second Vice Jelly collection. And I'm going to take a brush. Where is it? I'm going to use this brush from the first Vice Jelly collection. This is the JE01. So let's just take this one. So again, just load up the brush and then tap the excess on the back of your hand or on a tissue, wherever you want. Okay, this is a little bit of a peachy blush, which I think is good for my skin tone. So for the blush, I think she places it right here and then a little bit here. Right here. So I'm going to do just that. And also here on the nose. But I'll contour my nose first before doing that. So right here. Right there. Oof. That's beautiful. So like this. Just tap, tap. then up to here as well on the sides. This is Kaya's makeup, by the way. Just looking at different photos. Okay. Okay, so let's just leave that for a bit. I'm going to brighten my eyes for a bit. I will be using the PM3 and the YF1. I'm going to mix them together. This is from Issy. These are their concealers. So I'm going to mix that at the back of my hand, just like this. Like that. And then I'm going to take my favorite concealer brush. Where is it? Where? So I'm going to take my favorite concealer brush. This is a JE03 from the First Vice Jelly collection. And I'm going to swirl that on the mixture. Then I'm just, as you can see, this is really dark, right? I am not going to put any concealer here on the lower lash line because I don't think she does that. I'm just going to put it here, right? I'm just going to brighten this part right here. This one is okay. That makes sense. So just here. Do you see that? Just like that. I think she also does it, not just there, just here. Yeah. Okay. Then I'm gonna remove the excess. And then I'm going to blend that out. Okay, so just warm up your fingers like that. And tap. Okay, let's take the brush again, the blush brush. Okay, and then let's contour our nose. So it's not very bright, so I'm going to use the same brush that we used for under eye brightening. I'm just gonna place that here and here. Yeah, this part here is very bright. It's just not here in the center, but on the sides of the brow. Again, not very bright, so yeah, there. I think that's okay. Yeah, that's good. Okay, then take the blush brush again and then tap it on the blush product on the back of your hand, and then we're going to tap this onto our nose. I think she does this first before contour, so that's what I'm going to do. Right, okay. And then we're gonna take the same contour product a while ago. And then I'm gonna take this Petite Eye Blender 223 from Zoeva. This is what I use for my nose contour. So again, just tap it on the product. And then once the brush is loaded with the product, tap the excess on a palette or the back of your hand or even your palm. Doesn't really matter. And then I'm going to contour. Let me see the contour. Oh, she does contour really well. I think she does a little bit of here. Ah, she takes it here. So here. Right. Connect it here and here. She makes a triangle over here. Right. Ooh. Oof. Just a little bit here, I guess. And then I'm gonna put bronzer later because she does that too. I'm just gonna contour my bulbous nose. Like that. And then let's take the foundation brush a while ago and just tap it there. Ooh, okay. I'm gonna take the blush brush again so I can put more blush and put it here. Let's go to powders, and I'm going to use this Bake Setting Powder from Vice Cosmetics. This is their Endless Universal Fix in Natural. Right. So, and then I'm going to take this setting brush from Real Techniques. I'm going to set the under eyes with this. So let's set. I think she sets here. I'm going to set my under eyes first with this one. And then here. I think that's what she does. Also here. Yeah, just here. Not the nose, but just here. And here. Okay. And then we're gonna bronze. So I'm gonna take the Bahama Mama again from the Balm. And then I'm going to take a bigger, fluffier bronzer brush. This is the JE04 from the second Vice Jelly collection. Then again, just swirl, swirl, and then tap the excess. So she puts the bronzer on the nose as well, so I'm going to do that. Just here. And on the sides. I think this is what she does. Oh gosh, that's so pretty. Oh my god. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna do that from now on. And then the bronzer, let's see. Okay, so she puts a lot of bronzer here, which doesn't really help with mine because I have bangs. She puts the bronzer up to here. Okay, so I'm gonna put the bronzer up to here. Oh, I see. Okay. So as you can see, since we put an illuminator a while ago there, the glow still peeks through. And then I'm just gonna bronze up. I think she does the bronze here too, on the sides of the nose. And then here. Yeah. So here. And here too, I think. Like that. Like that. Let's put more here. Ooh, now we're getting somewhere. Let's put a powder blush. So I'm going to use the Nude Do It again. This is the powder here. And I'm going to use the Strokes Blush and Flash palette in the shade Peach Lover. Okay, so the cream blush that we used a while ago is peach. So we're going to use a peach blush powder. So I'm just going to mix the two. So the brush that I'm using is the JE10 brush from the second Vice Jelly collection. So let's do a light hand with this one. So I'm just gonna mix the two. Let's put it here first. So as you can see, I'm holding the middle, almost the outer third or the last third of the brush handle. And then I'm gonna mix that with this. Let's see if it works. Tap the excess. And then I think she places the powder blush here. Wait, let me just... Okay, so this part here. Right. Right, okay. Not here, because we already powdered that, but here. And here as well. All right. And since that's a little bit dry, I'm going to spray my face again with a hydrating mist. This is the one that we used a while ago. And let's let that dry. Okay, so the video wasn't recording, but I did darken up my lid using these two colors, the Baka and the Carbon. And I'm going to also smoke out this part here using just the Baka. With the same brush a while ago, this is the number 10 Strokes Beauty eye brush. And then I'm just going to place it on the outer thirds first, and then I'm going to blend it out here. So, like that. Okay. Don't forget to connect it to the upper part. There. Okay, so let's go to the lashes. I'm going to curl my lashes using the Shu Uemura lash curler. So when I curl my lashes, I look at an angle like that. And then curl them 3 to 4 times. Making sure that I curl them like that. After curling my lashes, I'm going to use my favorite mascara. This is from Clio Kill Lash Super Proof. This is their volume curling variant. They have different variants, so just choose one that you like. So I'm just going to... So I start on the outer thirds because that's where I want the volume to be, right? So remember that when you first apply the product, you have to apply it on the area where you want the most product, because the first application is usually... contains the most product. Okay, so now we're done with that. I'm going to take the same brush that we used a while ago on our brows. This one, the slanted one. And then we're going to do a powder eyeshadow liner. Okay, so that's what she does. I'm going to take this black one right here from the Neutral Mattes Pro palette from Strokes. This is in the shade Carbon. And I'm just going to tap it right there. And tap the excess here. And then I'm just gonna... What kind of wing does she do? Is it like a cat eye, or it depends on the eye shape? It depends on the eye shape. So I'm going to do like a straight liner because that's what flatters my eye. So very subtle. So now that we have the line, I'm just gonna make a triangle right here. Right here. Just like that. I think that's okay. I'm just gonna clean up this part right here. Okay, so I'm gonna clean that part using the Issy light peach concealer corrector. Just gonna put it there. And then I'm gonna use the same brush, JE03. There we go. Now that's done. Let's just use the foundation brush again and just to blend everything. Okay, so next let's add some freckles because most of our clients have freckles and we're gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna find like an inspiration. And I'm going to use this really old freckle pen from Podire. I got this from the Orange app. I'm Shopee, so I'm just gonna place it right there. It's like random. There, I think that's fine. We're just gonna add some later, and then let's do the lower lash line. So for this one, I'm going to use this Heroin Make micro mascara. So if you can't do it this way, you can do it this way, like straight. And then just do this. So one of my favorite parts of Nina Park's makeup are the lips. I think the lips are just like really juicy, you know, but not super hydrated looking. I don't know how to say it. It's just, it looks really healthy and plump. So that's what we're gonna try to do here. For the lips, I think I'm gonna use 4 products. So the first one, I'm gonna contour my lips with this one. This is the Careline Canva Pot in the shade Engrave. And then we're gonna put some lip tint. This is from BLK in the shade Golden Hour. This is their gloss gel tint. And then I'm going to use this truffle shade from Absidy, their lip liner. And then I don't know if I'm gonna top it off with this one. So let's see, like a mousse tint. Maybe I'm gonna mix those two. So first, I'm going to contour my lips. So I always do this in my videos. If this is your first time watching, you can just like watch how I contour my lips. So you can contour your lips using a lip liner, but I use a contour product, cream to powder product. So the brush that I'm using is the one that I used for my nose a while ago. It's the 223 Petite Eye Blender from Zoeva. Okay. And then I start off here, right, in the philtrum area. So I just want it a little bit plumper and bigger and also of the same size. All right, so my lower lip is a little bit bigger, just a little bit, compared to my upper lip. So I have to make them look similar or symmetrical. So I'm just gonna do that. See? Ooh. Okay, now that that's done, let's use the lip tint a while ago. I love this. I think I use this every day. I'm gonna put that all over the lip. Okay, and then we're gonna take the lip liner. Then I'm just gonna line my lips. So where I placed the contour earlier, that's where I'm gonna put the lip liner, and I'm also gonna diffuse the liner onto the edges of the lip. So she does extend the lip liner here, and where I'm gonna diffuse that. So I'm gonna take the lip brush from the second Vice Jelly collection. This is the JE07. So I'm just gonna smudge that out onto the sides, onto the edges. So smudge it inside or like this. So when you smudge it, don't smudge it outside, inward. Okay. And focus on the sides, because we want this part to be a little bit more defined. I think I need... Let's add more. And then I'm gonna add something in the middle. So this is the Pretty Fresh palette. I'm gonna put this in the middle. So I just do this. Ooh, that looks so good. Nice. Okay, and then we're gonna add some highlight. So I'm gonna take my favorite highlighter. This is from the Balm Luminizer. And then we're gonna put this on the inner corner and also here, because that's where she puts it. So I'm gonna do the same. Okay. Gonna take this old brush. I don't know the name of this. Just gonna put this here. Gonna put this on the inner corner of my eye. Just like that. She doesn't put it here. Right? Or does she? Let's see. Does she? No. So just on the inner corner. Like that. And then I'm gonna take a highlighter brush. This is from e.l.f. Just gonna do that. Excess. And I'm going to do this here. Ooh. And also here. And here. Over here too. Okay, let's take this clay shade from the Strokes Neutral Mattes Pro palette, and then I'm gonna take this small crease brush from Zoeva. This is the number 231. Just gonna put it here. I think she does that. And then let's use a setting spray. This is from the Issy line. This is their True Flex All Day Setting Spray. I like this for my dry skin. The finish is a little bit glowy. Not super glowy, but not matte either. So let me just do that. So this is the final look. So it's like a subtle, dark, feminine makeup look. And I think Nina has been becoming one of my favorite makeup artists out there. And hopefully she does a video where she teaches us how she does makeup. Hopefully. Yeah, so this is the look. And hopefully you learned something or you just enjoyed watching my video. And hopefully I see you again in the next one. I hope you have a great day. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and Happy New Year. Bye.